Deadpool and Wolverine is a highly anticipated movie, and I'm excited. Dave, are you excited for Deadpool and Wolverine?
Like, general level of excitement is here. Go
Yeah.
ahead and double that up.
Really?
I am through the roof excited for this.
I think part of it is because it's like, yes, it's Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's also not, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And so we're going to pull up the trailer. If you haven't seen it already, Deadpool and Wolverine got their first teaser trailer as of the Super Bowl, I think is when it came out.
Super Bowl is the premiere, yes.
Yeah. So here it is, featuring Wade Wilson and a bunch of returning cast members. And it's just starting out, he looks happy. He's got Vanessa back. He's got a head of hair.
That is one head of hair, all right.
Yeah, right? And so he's celebrating his birthday, and then he's like, what makes you happy? And all of a sudden, the TVA shows up. So if you're just watching or listening on Spotify, the TVA is here and saying, we got a problem. And he's like asking if that's supposed to scare him. And it doesn't scare him because he's been prodded before, he says. And then rips off his wig, and he is now with the TVA. And he just wakes up.
Yeah, so if you guys are just listening on the Spotify, I think there's a couple things that we need to talk about here. So like Adam said, it opened up with the birthday party, and you see a lot of returning people from Deadpool 2. And if you're a little bit lost, or maybe you forgot, the reason why all those people are still there is because at the end of Deadpool 2, if you remember, Deadpool uses Cable's time, as like time transformer thing to go back in time and save all the people that he loves, and right a few mistakes, which was really, really funny, where he kills his own character in the end of the Wolverine movie, where he looks horrible with his mouth like all duct taped shut, and then also kills the Ryan Reynolds version of himself before he does the Green Lantern, which I thought was really, really funny. But that's why all those people are back. And that's also why the TVA is at his door, because if you know anything about the comic books, the TVA is the Time Variance Authority, and basically what they're tasked with policing the multiverse and time travel and stuff like that. And it's very obvious that Wade Wilson has been manipulating time travel, going back, creating new timelines by saving all these people. So that is why he is in this position. And I think it's kind of a really cool premise for the movie. I'm super excited about it. I think it looks really, really good. We don't get a huge glimpse of Wolverine in the trailer, if you guys are just listening. So there's only that one scene at the very, very end where you see the back of Wolverine kind of pull the claws out in the shadows.
And there was a scene where he is in a suit that Ryan Reynolds is walking up, or Deadpool is walking up to him. So there's two glimpses of him. The first one, when he's in the suit, you don't get to see his front side either, and it's pretty quick. And like Dave said, Wolverine walks up to him in the end in his comic book-esque suit and getting ready to stab Deadpool, and kind of cuts to the end. So,
and honestly, like, I'm okay with that. I think just knowing that Wolverine is in the movie is enough for me. I don't really need to see a bunch of glimpses of Wolverine in the trailer. I think just knowing that Hugh Jackman's going to reprise the role, he's going to be a part of the movie, it's going to be Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, that's fine. I mean, keep all the cool Wolverine scenes for the movie. There's no need to spoil anything right now. We all know that he's going to be in the movie and it's going to be awesome. So I know some people were a little salty. They wanted to see a little bit more Wolverine, but I'm actually okay with the trailer. I mean, just save all the good stuff for the movie. That's fine.
Right. And there's going to be more trailers that release the closer it gets. But this is like their teaser trailer just to get people excited and to show that the movie is finally coming after the strike, the writer's strike. So that this movie's back in production, probably almost close to being done if it's coming out in July. And Dave, this is finally a movie of Marvel I'm excited for. The last three have been some pretty big flops. And this is supposed to be Marvel's only theatrical release of 2024. I know a lot got pushed back because of the strike, but I think that's a good sign, to be honest.
And I think it's kind of funny because if you look in, if you really dissect the trailer, there's that part. So basically, what happens is, we talked about it. The TVA kind of gets a hold of Deadpool, and basically, what they're going to do is they have told him that there's a universe out there that really needs his help. And they're showing clips on the TV of a bunch of the MCU movies. So there's a Thor in there. I forget what other movie.
Avengers.
Yeah, there's Avengers on there. And he says a very funny line where he says, "I am Marvel Jesus," and I think that it's a very funny line. It's a very Deadpool line, but I think it's almost kind of true because Marvel anticipation for Marvel movies is at an all-time low, and I think bringing Deadpool into this universe, he really is like the savior of Marvel and like bringing that hype back to the franchise. And I think
He's like the revival. Yeah, he's the revival of the franchise. And it's funny, it also says, so this movie's gonna be rated R, which was another big concern of people that Deadpool was coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe once it was bought by Disney. And it was funny. I think he said, "Isn't this?" I can't remember the exact line, but it's like, "Isn't this like a little dark?" And then Deadpool says, "Not for Disney, it isn't," or something like that. So just saying that the movie's gonna be true to how Deadpool has been the last two movies, and I think that's a really good sign as well.
I think so. The scene in the trailer that you're talking about is when the TVA comes to get him, and they have the cattle prod. And I'm not going to say what he actually says because we will get flagged immediately. But he says, is that supposed to scare me? Blah 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 is nothing new for me, and in alluding to the first movie where this kind of thing has already happened to him. But he breaks the fourth wall and looks right at the camera and says, "But it is new for Disney." Yeah, so I think it's kind of cool that obviously Disney's on board and has the final say, but they're letting the movie be what the movie needs to be, and I think that's kind of cool of them actually.
And so storyline wise, there's not much to go on like exactly what the movie's gonna be, but like the description on IMDb is the irresponsible hero Deadpool will change the history of the MCU with Wolverine. So, and I know like there's been leaks in a bunch about a bunch of different things. Like there's one where you can see the Fox logo like all destroyed. Do you think it's gonna be him going back and like destroying like past incantations of like, let's say, X-Men that wasn't very good, or things like that, or Fantastic Four?
I did a little bit of a deep dive, and I have some ideas. So basically, what I think is kind of going to happen is after the events of the second movie, he's kind of settled into this normal kind of mundane life, and you can see that where at the birthday party, it almost looks like he has like a car salesman kind of uniform on, and he's got his like name tag and stuff like that. So I think after the second movie, like he's really tried to settle into a normal life and not be this crime fighting, character, because he's seen that, this puts the people that he loves in danger. But you can tell that like there's something off. You know what I mean? He's kind of bored. He's kind of missing the Deadpool life. And when the TVA shows up and brings him back into that world, I think there's a level of excitement, there's a level of fear that you kind of see on him. And I do think that it's going to manipulate a very, very cool storyline. The thing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about though is that basically I think Deadpool 3 is going to be a little bit more focused on not pruning the Deadpool universe as we know it. I don't think it's going to be this complete like suck into the MCU universe where the Deadpool universe no longer exists, and I think that's going to play a bigger storyline than people are thinking because I mean, if you really, really look at the first two movies, Wade Wilson has like one goal in mind, and it's always just making sure that Vanessa is safe. You know what I mean? And he's not going to want to let that universe where she exists and like their world together just dies. He like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think he's going to be kind of implanted into the MCU, but still focused on maintaining his
Like his
universe.
life, yeah.
Yeah, his life outside of the MCU, which I think is going to be a very kind of cool narrative. I think it's going to work in a very different way than people might expect.
So it's like he's a part of the MCU, but it's not like he's not taking over the MCU. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be like ingrained into like, oh, the Avengers are like, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. And I wonder, so you see that he's starting to fight the TVA. Maybe he's going against on what they want in terms of like, oh, you got to help us, but like your world or your life is kind of over as you know it. And then he's like, nope, I'm doing it my way, and it's this way, or I'm not doing it. And like they didn't like that, so maybe that's how, like you said, like that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah, and I think I don't want to spoil too much, and again, none of this has been confirmed, so it's that I don't really feel like we need to do a spoiler alert. This is honestly just what I think. But if you look at the trailer, you can see kind of in the beginning of the trailer, there's this back pan of this woman, and it's a bald headed woman, and I think that sets up to be the main protagonist or antagonist. I'm sorry. Yes, the main antagonist of the movie, which I believe is going to be Cassandra Nova. And if you know anything about Cassandra Nova, she is Professor X's evil twin sister, and I think that she's going to play the role of the bad guy here. And it's funny that you brought up him fighting the TVA, because I think what's going to happen in this movie is the TVA is going to come in, bring Wade Wilson into the MCU. I think the setup here is going to be that incantations of different heroes have been jumping multiverses into the MCU. And they want Wade Wilson to eliminate these versions of those heroes and get them back into the correct universe. But I think what's really, really going to happen is that you find out towards like the middle part, probably 2/3 of the movie in, you find out that the TVA is not really on Wade Wilson's side. And he figures out that they're just kind of manipulating him, and they're actually working with this main antagonist, Cassandra Nova, like almost like a double cross situation. So once he figures that out, he obviously switch gears and starts, taking on the TVA and stuff like that. Because you can see in the trailer, the one glimpse that we really get of Wolverine is him fighting Deadpool in the void, right? So once he's fighting Deadpool in the void, it almost sets it up like they're gonna be enemies in this movie. But if you look at like some of the, images that have dropped, like promotional images of the movie, I don't know if you've seen it, but they have that one where it's like the friendship bracelets where it's the heart and the Deadpool logo and the Wolverine logo. I think at the end of the movie they're gonna end up being friends, and it's gonna be that situation where it's like, I thought like I was, the TVA was like, double crossing me. I thought I needed to eliminate you. Like, we really need to work together on this for like the greater good. So I think that's going to be kind of like the plot of the movie.
Yeah, I think you're kind of hitting it right on what it's gonna be, and it's super exciting to see that they're getting to keep it like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's. I think this storyline of what they're gonna do is gonna be much better than what they have been recently. Like, I think it's gonna be more in depth and gonna really stay true to what Deadpool has become, and I'm excited about it.
It should be really, really sweet, and I think it's going to be really, really cool. And I think that this movie is a lot more important than people think to the MCU, because if you guys know kind of like what happened, the X-Men franchise was actually owned by Fox Searchlight, and that's why the homage to the dead logo in the void is actually there. But Disney has since bought that property back. So this is the first real incantation of Marvel being able to reintroduce the X-Men into their world, and I think that this movie is going to be really, really important to set up future X-Men events inside the MCU. So I'm super excited for that too. And honestly, like, be on the lookout for more cameos. I mean, we're obviously gonna see, Wolverine as, look, we're gonna see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I think we're gonna see a lot more of those, Fox heroes, the X-Men in the MCU, and I think it's gonna be really, really cool.
Yeah, there was some speculation of Toad. Like, that's some speculation that he'll be in there. Sabretooth is another one. Elektra, I think, is going to be, or I don't know if she's even speculated. I think she's in it, I believe. Like, that's not speculation. I think she's in the cast members.
I have heard rustlings of Kelsey Grammer's Beast and also Halle Berry's Storm which would be really, really cool if she came back to do Storm.
You know who I actually liked in as Sabretooth? I'm probably saying his name wrong, but it's the guy from X-Men Origins when it was when I'm gonna mess this up. Liev Schreiber?
Oh,
Schreiber?
yeah,
Schreiber.
live Schreiber.
Something like that.
He
Dang, yeah.
was, yeah,
I liked him.
he was Cotton Weary in Scream franchise.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah,
him in there. I
yeah,
know
no,
him.
he was a good actor.
I guess his first name is Isaac. I had a quick Google here. Isaac Live Schreiber. Yeah,
We're
whatever.
butchering that.
Yeah, butchering that. Let us know in the comments how we say that because we obviously got that wrong. But I liked him as Sabretooth in that. I know like X-Men Origins wasn't the best movie, but I liked him in that movie.
Yeah. No, I think it's really, really good. I do think there's one thing that we have to talk about. Adam, do you know about the Secret Wars stuff?
No.
Really?
I haven't been paying attention as much, to be honest. Actually, after the last Ant-Man and the Wasp is when I kind of like gotta quit watching a little bit. So
Can we pull up the trailer real quick?
of the what?
The Deadpool trailer. Go to the very end where he's laying on the ground. If you look on the left side there's a comic book that is laying on the ground next to Wade Wilson. And if you zoom in on that comic book, you can see that comic book is actually Secret Wars #5, the Doctor Doom cover. And I think that is alluding to where we're going to go next. And I know there's been some rumblings about Marvel doing Secret Wars. They've been wanting to do it for a very, very long time. And I think that this is kind of confirmation that is actually indeed coming.